Today on The Dead Life, you'll be hearing from my listeners who all have soulful Valentine's Day stories to share with you. In readings, the deceased often talk about the love of their life and all of the magic they shared together throughout their lives. Valentine's Day is a particularly popular day that's brought up in readings. Some people don't like Valentine's Day because they feel like it pressures them to find love, but for those who have found love or will find love, it becomes a time of year that celebrates a binding soul connection and memories made that follow us to the other side. So when you see all of the chocolate hearts, cupids, and champagne toasts sprinkled throughout February, immerse yourselves in the reality that timeless love stories exist all around us. They always have. You can follow me on Instagram at Medium Allison, on my Facebook fan page. You can watch me on my YouTube channel, and you can see me live in Dallas, Texas this Saturday, February 12th. Go to AllisonDubois.com for ticket information. Please welcome my husband, Joe Dubois, to the show, the love of my life, the man, the myth, the legend. Joe, thanks for being my partner in crime today.
Oh, thank you for inviting me. So much fun.
Well, I mean, inviting you. Come on. We live together. It's different.
Well, that's true.
So one of the things I see in readings is, they mentioned holidays, special times of the year that they miss, or that they work really hard to get a message or a sign to their loved one after they've passed. And Valentine's Day is one of those days that seems particularly important to the dead, to be able to still touch their soulmate from the other side and pass messages through the living to get that across to them, that they're not gone, that they're still part of their life, part of their world. Valentine's Day, I think, becomes important. And you're a guy, and I know in the beginning, when we were very young, you didn't know what to do for Valentine's Day. It takes a seasoned husband to really have Valentine's Day down.
I was going to say, I must still be young because I don't always know what to do.
That's so funny. Because you can only give so many flowers and chocolates and jewelry and all of that special
I think some
stuff.
people would say that you said you can only give so many, but maybe not. Maybe there isn't a limit on those things.
Well, once you've been married for as long as we have, what becomes meaningful has more to do with, because we've given each other every card that ever existed.
Sometimes the same card.
At the same time.
Right.
We'll give each other the exact same cards. So those are
more than once. Yes,
spellbinding moments. Yes, I love that. Just affirmation that we belong together. So one of the things I really liked, though, I got to a point, and I think you've done this as well, where we wrote our own cards because we had given, like, Hallmark, pick up the pace. Right, Some of us have been together a really long time, and you need something more tailored to couples who have gotten through those original hurdles.
Well, you kind of switched it up on me this year. You said, no, we're not going to go out because it's a Monday and, we don't want to have to. And then all of a sudden at the last minute, you switched it up and said, oh, let's go out.
Okay. So it's a Monday, but I had no expectations. If we couldn't have gotten a reservation, I would have been completely fine with us not going out. So I guess that's a difference. I wouldn't have been let down, but also because we're working Valentine's weekend. I have my Dallas event, so we're going to be traveling to Texas, and I'll be reading a room full of people. So, it was an afterthought. But
it worked out. We're going to the place that we had our second date, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it is cool. And we've been together so long, sometimes we even bring friend couples with us.
Sure, yeah.
But there's some comfort in that. I like that. But I think the expectations when you're first together are a little higher because you're young.
Valentine's Day is such an interesting holiday because it really is a holiday of its own, in that other holidays you get gifts for people, and this is the only holiday that's about a relationship.
Yeah.
Like
I
a
know, I
birthday's
love
just
that.
about you.
Mhm.
Christmas is about giving to others. Thanksgiving's about family, but this is strictly a relation. I mean, you have your anniversary, but then again, not everybody has anniversaries, but Valentine's Day, it's strictly about the relationship, which just makes it a little magical, I guess.
I think Valentine's Day is important, if only to remind couples to check themselves on why they're together. So, I mean, Valentine's Day falls in an Aquarius energy.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. If that's the case, then why is it an Aquarius?
Well, because some of those couples will say, you're out. Because Aquarius is breakup energy. We're in like a 4-week cycle of shape up or ship out kind of energy. So you'll see a lot of couples breaking up. You'll see people quitting jobs.
Yeah. Relatives of ours. I guess we don't have to call out who.
One of our daughters.
Yes. And you warned her. You said this is coming. And
I literally said there's a 2-day window where you're going to get hit to your moon in Leo by the sun and the moon. And this is what's going to happen. And she walked right into it. So just so people out there understand.
It reaffirmed her belief in astrology.
Yeah, right. It did. But for all the moms and dads out there that try and guide their kids and they don't listen to you, you're not alone.
Right,
you don't have the market cornered there. Even world-renowned psychic mediums have kids that go, come on, Mom.
Right.
It's like, yeah, okay, whatever, kid. So I think Valentine's Day is very important for you to recognize why you're together, why not out of, I've invested so much time. Some people look at marriage as they invested so much time, and I read these people, so they don't want to leave because they feel like they've paid with their minutes, hours, days, weeks, and months.
Oh my gosh.
And I think if you're not happy, just cut it now. Like, why waste another day of your life? But that's me, and I'm an Aquarius, so of course I wouldn't see it that way.
It's not, I mean, there are ups and downs in every relationship, but it's you always have to have the passion, right? I mean, if that's not there, then
Come on, that's work to keep going though. Like you have to be mindful of it, especially when you're married a long time. Not in the beginning. If you have to be mindful,
to be heartful of it,
or whatever. If you have to be mindful of passion in the beginning, just pack it in now, because that's when it's easy.
Right.
That's when everything's hot and steamy, and you want to be together forever and ever, and everything's just so beautiful.
Gosh. We were so young. We must have been, I don't know, something.
We were hook, line, and sinker, head over heels, in love. So that was easy. Getting me down the aisle. I was so afraid to get married, since I'd seen women in my family that went before me not fare so well. But when it came to you, I swear you're the only person I could have walked down the aisle for.
I hope so.
Absolutely. So when Valentine's Day comes around, to women out there that have been married a long time, if you're going to be disappointed in the flowers that they send you or what they give you, order it yourself. I do that sometimes. It's cool. Give yourself what you deserve. I mean, my husband's really good about it. Joe, you're really good about it. But
thank you.
Sometimes I have a certain vision of how I want something to look, and I'm totally fine doing that.
Wow, that's true. And giving me hints of what you like does help. Now, the flower bit, though, they jacked the price of flowers up too much, and there's a big flower shortage. I guess there was a bad weather or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But we get flowers 50 other weeks out of the year.
Yeah, go buy your lady some Flower Bomb perfume. She'll actually appreciate it, and it lasts longer than those flowers that will die within days. So, I mean, flowers are beautiful, don't get me wrong, but there are some fine substitutes out there. Yeah. So we have some call-ins for Valentine's Day, and they want to share their story, and some of them have questions that they wanted asked. And then I'm going to share my favorite Valentine's story from a reading that I did.
Sounds good. All right, let's get going.
Hey, Allison. This is Allison. I'm calling because I have a story about my late husband for your Valentine's Day episode or question that you had asked about. So my husband passed away almost 2 years ago, right after Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day was always super important to us. We never went super crazy, but we always did cards and roses. and made a special dinner or something like that. We just really valued the spirit of that love and that connection that we had. So he passed shortly after Valentine's Day 2 years ago. And within a month of his passing, I would say, I had a mutual acquaintance of ours that we both worked with during our bartending days that reached out to me on Instant Messenger. And the guy who reached out, he's middle-aged, non-spiritual, golf-loving, good old boy, just total fun type, but not like the hippy-dippy spiritual, I'm going to reach out, talk to you about your husband that passed. So it was kind of unusual that he reached out. We hadn't spoken in probably about 15 years, so he kind of reached out with a little trepidation and let me know that my husband had been coming to him every day while he was doing a yard project and that it was driving him absolutely crazy. He'd never seen a spirit before, let alone talked to one, and my husband just would not leave him alone until he passed a message on to me. He said it had gotten so bad he had started drinking and trying to yell at my husband to get him to go away, but he wouldn't.
Little vodka.
What my husband wanted him to do was to put the purple blossoms from the bush that he was trimming into a heart shape and photograph it and send it to me. So after a week, he did. He sent a half apology saying that he was so sorry if this offended me and the deepest part of my grief, and that he didn't even believe in spirits until now, but he knew that he had to do this. And the minute I saw it, I knew that it was my husband. In life, our daily communication to each other was always sending the purple heart emoji back and forth. If we were both at work or one of us was home or we went to the store, we would just always throw that purple heart emoji back and forth. And when he sent a picture, it looked like he was sending the purple heart emoji, except formed from these tiny little purple blossoms. And I knew that it was his way of telling me that he loved me and checking in, just, one last time. And also the fact that he went through like the least likely person to reach out to me also seemed like it was him too. In life, my husband was an atheist and, kind of had the same spiritual beliefs as this other person or lack thereof. And he would always tell me that there was nothing, and I would just kind of wink at him and say, there is, and you'll see. So I felt like it was, him telling me that there was and that he loved me. And anyways, that's my story. And
atheists are the best converts.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm. So I love her story. I love how he communicated with her. And I love the example. This is such a teaching moment here because he is an atheist,
right.
But atheists come through just like everybody else does.
I like that he came through another atheist. Like he kind of forced him to.
It emphasized the
right,
sign.
Right.
He was emphasizing the sign that it was him.
And that it was, I also really like that she didn't, she got the message. She didn't question, it wasn't the emoji. It was actually purple flowers making a heart, it's like, but she made the connection. It's like, yeah, that's when you feel it, it is.
Let me show an example of a difference to the listeners here, like explain this to you so that you can understand how mediums see it and different energies. So the purple flowers, she got right away. Like her soul recognized it was his soul, total acceptance. Therefore, the healing and the reconnection blossoms, for lack of a better term. You sometimes will see people who will say, well, it was close, but why didn't he just send me a purple emoji? And they totally missed the point.
Right.
He was emphasizing the sign so that she knew it was him.
Right.
And that it was something that he actually went to great lengths to do.
Right. That had to be hard. Like that required a lot of energy to.
He had to bug that poor man for days and weeks.
Drive him to drinking.
I drove him to drinking, poor guy. And so I just wanted to sort of illustrate that for people so they understand, because I'll have some people that would be the person that would say, why don't they just send me a purple emoji? It's like, why don't you just be quiet and pay attention to the sign? Because they're doing it out of love.
A lot of people go, I wonder if that was, and it's like, yeah, it was. It was.
Yeah. Or they sort of, I just read somebody last week and this sort of blew my mind. The guy came through with, his birthday cake and it had a candle in it. And that's how they communicate that there's a birthday right around now, either their birthday or somebody they love that's right around the time that I'm doing the reading. And I said, did you celebrate his birthday after his passing? And she said, there was no candle.
Oh, no, you said you saw a birthday cake with a can.
I already said that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, thanks for that again.
I had to,
Okay.
Okay. So I, going back, I was more of the thick type that would be like, well, there's no candle.
Okay.
Like when we first started doing this.
I know.
But now I've grown and I understand it.
Okay.
And so that's why I'm excited when I hear about this.
Okay. So anyways, she just said there was no candle. So in other words, there was a cake, there was a birthday party after he died, but there was no candle. I said, you're taking it too literally. You need to look at the sign. And so for people out there that are looking for signs, try not to don't stand in your own way. Mm-hmm. And I see the living stand in their own way a lot. It's like, I'm on your side. I'm here to get the messages to you from the dead. I'm a secretary. This is my job. I need you to hear them from the center of your chest, not in your head. And I say that to every client, and most of them get that. But every now and then I'll get one that's stuck in their head and they just get in their own way. So for the purple flowers and that being the sign and her acceptance of it and her recognition that he loves her and he was letting her know he's still there, I think is beautiful. And everybody could take a page from this woman in learning how to interpret signs and to accept them from within.
Of course. Yeah. No.
So
maybe it's because I have so much air.
You have a lot of air in his chart, a lot of air.
When you say that it's from the center of your chest, I don't feel it that way. It's just like, it's just not from my head. That's all I could explain it. Like if something happens and it would be a sign, say, I'd be like, okay, that's not from my head, so it's a sign. I just accept it. But I don't have like a certain spot in the center of my chest that.
Let me just say, your heart is not easy to get to. It took somebody like me to chip away.
chip. That has a very special meaning.
I broke him down until he relented.
Tap.
So, yes, you have a lot of air. He's a Gemini, Libra rising, Moon in Aquarius with like 5 planets in Gemini. So try holding that down to Earth. Not easy. So let's hear from another caller.
Okay, here we go.
Take me to church.
Hi, Allison, longtime fan. Actually had a reading from you a few years ago. My husband recently succumbed to a long-time illness, and I was just wondering if he chose to come back as, or if his energy or his soul came back as a child or a teenager, and my energy chose a different age when I pass. Are we still gonna match up, or how does that actually work? Because that's weird. Anyway, love the show, love the podcast. Everything you do is amazing. Thank you so much. Bye.
Well, isn't she sweet? Everything I do is amazing.
Yeah, no, of course.
So that's a good question.
Well, and at first, I mean, I feel so bad for her husband recently, passed, and then she comes out with this question that, has almost like a little humorous side, because you can imagine 2 people of different ages, and that
she's
is
worried she won't be with him. Yeah. Sure. This is the best way I can answer it. Suicides go back to childhood because it's before they had a chemical imbalance. So that would be an exception to what I'm about to say. So suicides will go further back than most people. If there's an age difference in a couple, for instance, if they wish they'd met when they could have had children together, met sooner, or sometimes when the man or the woman's older, they wished and they've said to their spouse, I wish we could have been closer in age so that we could have lived longer together and experienced things similarly at the right times, the same time. They will go back to the age they wish they had been when they met you. And when you die, you'll go back to the age that would match them. So you don't have to worry about picking different ages on the other side. But I will say, you can be whatever age you want on the other side. There's no time in the afterlife. So if you want to, for instance, be with your mom and dad and be 4 and it's Christmas, you can run downstairs and open your presents and relive that memory again. If you want to fall in love all over again with the love of your life, you can redo that. So you can move around in the ages.
I want to say I've heard you say that there's been some people that turn into an age that maybe they didn't know the person. Like if say a couple met when they were older, in their 50s, say, but they knew it was their true love.
Right.
In heaven, they could be in their 30s and really do those things that they would have wanted to do. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay.
So absolutely. I've actually officiated a couple of weddings where the people were beyond the age of having a child together.
Oh.
And they wish they could have had a child together. So when they die, they can go back to a younger age and meet at a younger age.
Okay.
And it doesn't mean that they actually have children together on the other side.
Right.
It just means there will be figures that act as the children in certain moments in their heaven.
Well, I don't think you and I are going to go back to any younger because we were pretty young.
I was 20. Yeah. Yeah. Joe was at my 21st birthday.
Yeah.
Our first Valentine's Day was at Disneyland. That's how old
Seemed
we
appropriate.
were.
We had the best time though. Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
that was.
We had a great time.
We should share that story. We went to Disneyland.
Yeah.
And it started raining and it cleared the park out. So we had the whole park to ourselves.
That was awesome. Most
was
Aquarian moment ever. It's like, get out of here, kid. You're bothering me.
And we ducked into a little cafe and we might as well have been in Paris.
Yeah.
And I
Little
don't know.
French cafe.
Right. And I don't know what food you probably remember.
I do. I'm a Moonitaurus. So, so we got hot chocolate and that was sweet. And we got like a pastry and just split it. And we went and saw Beauty and the Beast live because it was then just sprinkling. So we were the only 2 people in the little amphitheater watching that.
That was awesome.
And then we ran to get in line. Well, there was no lines, to just jump on all the rides as fast as we could.
Who gets to do that?
It was awesome. And you gave me your sweatshirt because I was cold. And you bought me a crown with these scarves hanging from it in the back like a princess. And I wore it for days. And we had such a great time. And we stayed at a Hilton back when it was a real Hilton, when they still owned the Hilton, when they were fancy.
Well, and it was a road trip, which, so let's see, we hadn't even known each other a year. How long? We'd known each other, maybe 6 months?
Yeah.
And it's a 6-hour drive from our house to Disneyland. And so I really thought we got to know each other better just, being in the car and on the open road. And it's the desert between Phoenix and Anaheim.
Yeah, but we never ran out of things to say anyways. We were like constantly talking. So
no, of course.
I mean, we're both air signs, so no problem on that.
And I had a sports car, so we were nice and snuggly next to each other.
His Nissan 300 in midnight blue, his true love. And here
it got me the girl, huh?
It did. It was nice, I'm not gonna lie. And I had the black Honda Prelude SI, my Attitude Mobile.
We saw one yesterday.
Yeah, it looked ancient. That was awesome. Not really. So I wanted to share my favorite reading that involved Valentine's Day. And I've had many over the years because I've done tens of thousands of readings. I had an event and this woman raised her hand and I went to her and she said, I want to hear from my dad. And so I think it must have been like March or April. It wasn't that long after the Valentine's Day before. And I brought him through and he said, I'm sending you a girl. And I kept seeing 2 boys and a girl connected to this woman. And she's like, no. I have 2 boys and my husband just got a vasectomy. So she's like, we're not having any more kids. And I said, well, your dad keeps talking about sending you the girl. And she's like, I always wanted a girl. And I said, well, I don't know what to tell you. He's showing the girl. And so I continued with the reading, and it was great. And she was happy, and she felt very loved. And I got an email from her months later, and turns out that vasectomy hadn't quite taken a hold quite yet. So he died. Her dad had died that Valentine's Day before the reading. So a month or two before the reading. And her daughter was born the next Valentine's Day. So she said it was the most affirming and amazing gift from her father that he sent them a little piece of himself from the other side. And the baby was born on Valentine's Day to really drive home that it was sent from the heavens from Daddy. And I thought that was just an amazing reading. I'm sure the husband was a little shocked. Sorry about that. But he got...
They warn you about those things.
He got
that
his...
can happen.
Right. But he got his little girl, and I'm sure she's the apple of his eye.
Oh, of course. Of course. She has to be.
Well, and now I'm sure the dad that died's thinking, I'm going to send you a little girl so you understand how much I love my baby girl.
Mm-hmm.
So he was driving it home to the son-in-law as well. So,
Take care of my girls.
Yeah. Exactly. And so I thought that was pretty beautiful. And we had some people calling in with some Valentine's stories, and a little note for Australia, because it seems that they don't have the same radio methods or podcast methods than Americans are privy to. If you call into my line to leave a message and you want to share a story, we don't call you back. Like, you have to share the story on the recording.
Right.
So in
and
the
it has
future,
to be under 3 minutes.
Yeah. So in the future, if you want to share a story, just share the story, because we're not going to dial up and have a convo with everybody. We get a lot
But we
of
do
messages.
listen to every single message.
We do. And they're entertaining. And we're filing some of the ones we got away for future podcast episodes. So I just wanted to say Happy Valentine's Day to all of my Dead Life listeners, and to my amazing husband, Joe. And we will be seeing many of you in Dallas, Texas, Valentine's weekend on the 12th. And until next week on the Dead Life, I'm Allison Dubois. This is the love of my life, Joe. And to all of my believers out there, don't stop believing.